Made it. All right, guys. Good morning and happy Friday. Feels like good Friday vibes. That song got me in that good energy. And let me tell you, it is going to continue on here for the next 30 minutes. I have one of my besties, my sister from another mister, man, Stephanie Stancil on with me today. I'm so excited to have her. Welcome, Stephanie.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys, look at that fun background she has on her Zoom. That was the first thing I told her. I said, that it's just so apropos to who you are because it's just about being so unique and making a mark. It's like instantly when you hopped on, it captured my attention. So I love that. So people who don't know you here on the call, because you're kind of new to our circle, and I'm excited to introduce you guys all the stuff. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us like a little bit more about who you are and what your relationship with real estate is.
Sure. Good morning again, Stephanie Stancil. I am a proud realtor at Keller Williams Coastal. I'm so excited. So, just some background about me. I spent, most of my adult life in the corporate arena. I was a salesperson, specialist. I specialized in custom and fun media. I sold paper for a living. Yes, that was a job. I spoke to paper engineers every single day. Then I went into management and I actually led a team on the West Coast. And then I actually led a team that was when we started to downsize and make some changes. I actually led a team that took the second, half of the country. Again with media with the Xerox Corporation, and then I was also a paper inkjet specialist for a company called Domtar. Domtar was the number one paper manufacturer in North America, and then from there, I got my license in 2006. The goal was to kind of help my community. A lot of folks, I'm a black female. I come from a group of people that just didn't own property. And I just wanted to make sure that I was a resource for this group of people. Um, Came from a family that owns property. My mother and my father owned their homes. Our family comes from people who just own property. And I was with this group of people who didn't. So I thought I'd take all this negotiation skills and all this training, education, all this wonderful opportunity of being part of the corporate arena and merge it into real estate. And so, as far as me and my relationship with real estate, I came in, I embraced it, I embraced the community, I call it. A lot of training. I have probably three, four, or five designations and about 10 certifications because I believe in education. When I first got in, me and my best friend called it alphabet soup. We're going to get all this training so we can be experts in our business because it was a new business to me. And so I decided to do it that way. So I have a lot of training. I know a lot of stuff and it's kind of what I do. So I just believe you just need to get involved, step in, and know what you're doing, know what you're doing. But the education just helped me be a little more grounded because it was my second career.
It's amazing how many people do something in their first life, aka before real estate, that really it's a natural transition. Like that would make sense. You're in the corporate arena, you're managing, you're sales, right? Having that background and having that knowledge of that, and then transposing it to real estate, which 2006, there were some things that happened in between 2006 and now. So you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of market shifts. Which tell us about like that journey. How was that market different getting started
Well,
in
it was
that than it
different
was today?
because I got my license, I'm sorry, in 2006, and I didn't make a decision to move completely at that time. So I worked through the corporate arena until about 2016, and then I said, okay, it's time to go. And so I did. But as I watched it, I stayed involved. I did a few transactions here and there through the years, but I just kind of watched what was going on. Um, Kind of come from a philosophy that the market is going to be what the market is. I lived through paper shortages where we had to figure out how to find paper, and those were some of my best years. You just do what you have to do to kind of get to it. I think a lot of times, just in business, there's a lot of noise, and we
Mm,
have to kind of just stick to our plans, making sure that we're clear about what our own personal goals are, what our own whys are, and kind of stick to that because the market's going to change. It's going to be, we went through COVID. We went through, I mean, we talked about, I had transaction that fell out twice because of the byproduct of what's going on with our government. So it's just going to happen. So we just have to continue to build. So I've never been a proponent of be aware, but don't let it be what stops you or keeps you from doing. Don't let that be the excuse. If there's a reason why you're not getting to whatever you need to get to, it's really the girl in the mirror. It's not that. It's
mm.
just my philosophy.
And society changes, things happen, environmental, disasters or things like that happen that affect our industry, the economy, the market, and therefore it's like always changing. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
long time to see that growth and to know that as soon as you get stable in a market and you get comfortable and you know exactly what you're doing, that's when something's going to happen, right? And we have to be adaptable. So you were doing that. So what are some of the things that you do to kind of help yourself get through that and adapt to a new market. Like,
Again, it starts with me. So gratitude affirmations. It's real kind of ground grassroots. And then also double down. I adopted if the goal is, and I don't always do it, don't get me wrong, but I understand that if the goal is if the goal says you gotta do two, then Stephanie, you have to do four. If the goal says I need to focus on my SOI and really hone in on the people in my database and the people that know, like, and trust me, really do it. Do a little more. I believe in, like, one of my things is gift giving. I like to put little things together, and every time I meet somebody, I have something. Do more of that, making sure that people know that there's a little thing that says Stephanie cares, but it's really just doubling down. It's simple math. What we do is really it's really simple. It's just hard work. We gotta work.
mhm. It is, and you have to go in and do it. One of the things that through our conversations and coaching and things like that, that you're doing the work in real smart ways by leveraging technology a lot. So talk to me a little bit about what you're using and kind of how you're using it in your business to help through some of those things.
Sure. So there's a couple things. The first thing, I think, as business professionals and salespeople, we have to have some type of CRM or database, a way to manage our data, our information, our clients, our customers, our whatever, however you identify your people. And then for me, I am a chat GPT junkie. I mean, I just started a new chat this morning. It's actually really cool. I'm excited about it. And then also looking at Canva, and then one of the things I heard at a graduation last week, it was your tools, use your tools, now trust your tools. So that comes with the technology. So like I said, CRMs and just mostly chat. Lots of social, really using the social media. So it's just basic things. I think things that all of us are currently using.
So tell me more about the prompts because what's basic to you may not be basic to others, right? Like there's probably quite a few people here on the call that still are kind of like chat ABC, where do I log in? That kind of stuff. What are some of the things that you like type in, like maybe an example
You,
of a prompt or what are you doing
you want
specifically
to
with
hear the
it?
one from today?
Yeah, I do.
I'll read it.
Okay.
It's really good. So the prompt I just did this morning. The prompt for today is give me a 30-day AI challenge to grow my real estate business and increase my social presence with my database, touch systems to make me be the go-to agent in the community. And so it starts spitting it out, and it's something every day. So give me a 30-day AI challenge to grow my real estate business, increase my social presence, database touch, and make me the go-to agent in the community. And so I did it, and I'm still kind of playing with it, but then from there you build on it. It gives you some things, and once you get the things that it spits out, then what I did was I took one of the first things was rewrite my bio.
Mm.
And so what I did was I took my bio and a couple little marketing pieces that I'm using. I put it in the chat and said, rewrite this based on what you've given me. And it spit out more. So really, and then from there, take it and put it in a usable um tool, print it out on a Word document, keep it on your phone, make it a note on your phone. And then from there, the number one key with this, because I do this, I'm really into it, is execute. So I think we talked about the fact that to kind of just go a different way. I am the president of two organizations. And so I had to learn being efficient quickly in order to move my business forward, but also to make sure that these two organizations stay afloat. And so with that, what I decided to do about 2 weeks ago was take these two organizations and the mission from both. I put the mission from both, who I am and how I want to attack my business, and I came up with a way to market to the community that I serve pulling the corporate piece in. So the tagline is from corporate to community, one key at a time. And so it's taking all these things, bringing them together, running it through ChatGPT, and I came up with a plan. The first thing was a letter. Hey, I'm Stephanie, and I'm here to serve this marketplace. I am this, and I do this, and I do these things. And oh, by the way, here we are. This is me. And so QR code on it, so they have a way to tag back into me. Always put a call to action on everything we do, and then I put it out. I even put it in a green envelope because it's different than a white envelope. I wish I could get the labels in script with blue ink because that gives a whole nother, that's a whole nother thing. But I put it in the mail and then I have a follow-up because we know we have to do 8 touches in order to be even seen. And so that's the plan. And so that's one that I executed on, and I'm passionate about it because I'm passionate about the missions of both the organizations. So it's putting me out there as a leader, it's putting me out there with somebody who's serving the community, and also putting me out there, Stephanie, who's got all the stuff that she's done or is doing.
And so you're using ChatGPT, you're putting the prompts in, and then the key piece is to take those things and then do something with them.
Yes.
Right? To
Yes.
take it out and then to implement because it's so smart to use that. ChatGPT is a great leverage. Most people don't even realize the things that it can do and that it can help you with. But the important thing that, Steph, when you and I have been talking, we talk about if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So
Right.
if you're not getting the things that you need in ChatGPT and giving the results like Stephanie's talking about, more than likely you have to look at the way that you're talking to ChatGPT, right?
Right.
You have to look at the words that you're using, like just even how you just described that prompt, you're giving it those key pieces that ChatGPT needs, right? You're giving it the vision, you're giving it the direction, you're giving it the emotion behind it, because that's going to help you create that content and then building inside each one of the chats.
Right. Right.
We were working together too, and we're talking about farming plans, right? And you had worked and just built out this amazing farming plan, came in and showed me, and every single piece was plotted out for the next 12 months. It
You want
was,
to talk about that one?
yeah,
That's a fun
talk
one.
about that one.
So the conversation started with I wanted to farm my community or my area, my community. And so what we did was and there was another no, it was another community. So we were looking at I just sold this house in the community, and I thought it made sense for me to work in this community because I knew 3 people in the neighborhood, and it was a sought after community. And so what we did was Hallie gave me some suggestions as to let's understand, take it past just farming the community. So we took it to primary, secondary, and then also tertiary. So the first thing is, okay, here's a community. The second thing is what's the turnover? That's the first thing we always look at. What's the turnover in the community? The next thing we looked at is why do people move in? Where do they come from? And why do people move out? And where are they going? So we did all that work, and I came to terms with it was probably not the best community for me to farm because some of the data that was spit out says this is not Stephanie. So then we took it a step further and we looked at the community I lived in, and so we did the exact same thing, and it made sense. So again, where the people are coming from. So I live by Cal State Long Beach. People come to Cal State Long Beach for what reason? They come for education. They come because it's close to the beach. And then where do they live? They live in this community, that community. Where do they come from? They come from, and they're not just coming from Northern California or like Colorado was one of the places, Idaho was one of the places, but they also come from Orange County or Torrance because of the school and the technology, and they want to live closer to the campus on top of being closer to the ocean. And then it got into demographics and things like that. So it gave me a way to kind of look at our farm a little differently. And because I'm part of these other organizations, it gave me the opportunity to target my referral base a little differently. So it took a farm idea, added it to the referral base. So now, Stephanie, you're here by Cal State. People that come and go from Cal State come from Idaho. Oh, you're part of Women's Council in Idaho. You're part of Women's Council, and there's agents in Idaho. Now I can go target Idaho because they tell us do the feeder market, and Southern California has a feeder market A, B, C, D, F, G, right? But instead of doing it that way, we go to where the feeder market is for the farm area I'm trying to build. So now I go to Idaho. Now I go to Colorado. Now I pick out an area in Torrance. Now I pick out an area in Northern California that says these people come and go to go here, and I'm more targeted and a little more strategic about how I'm doing instead of a spraying and praying, sending out note cards to everybody in Arizona because that's a feeder market for Southern California, but it's not a feeder market for Long Beach, for the area in Long Beach I'm trying to farm. So it's a little different. So that was actually fun, and I'm honestly maybe presenting that information with the Women's Council thing I'm doing. So it was a great way of a tool of learning and digging into data. I am a data junkie. I love research. I can actually tell you a fun story, and I don't want to digress. I used to get in trouble a lot when I was a little girl because I talk. You can tell that, right? And so I was always mouthy as a little girl. And so because I was mouthy, my father would take TV, radio, everything away from us. TV, radio. I couldn't play with my friends. I couldn't talk on the phone. So the only thing I could do was go to the library. So I would go to the library and research. And then I was a little timid back then, even though I was mouthy with my family. I was a little timid, so I would go to the library and read a lot. So like a data junkie. So that's kind of why that was so fun for me. That was a fun exercise for me, just to think.
You know, it's a really good one to look at when we have farms or we're considering, you know, establishing a new farm, because all of our efforts need to be constantly measured and valued, right? If even if it's something that you've been farming this area for years, if we're not pulling the right metrics and we're not fully understanding the turnover rates, because they've changed greatly in the last 5 years in most markets. I mean, we used to be really happy when we saw, you know, 6, 7, sometimes 15% turnover rates in some communities. Now they've drastically dropped, and a lot of places are really happy to get a 2 to 4% turnover, right? You know,
Yeah.
because people have just been staying in their homes for, you know, interest rates, for, you know, many reasons, right? And that activity that you did by taking, hey, here's my farm, and I'm looking at, not only do I have the access of just my farm, but where are those people coming from? Where do people come from to move into my farm? Why do they move there? Now you have a secondary market that you can now farm, right? You can go in there and say, hey, I'm going to go into that feeder farm and I'm going to start posting my just listed homes there because it's going to target the right audience. And then vice versa. When people are moving out of your farm, where are they going? They're going to Idaho or they're going to Colorado. It's like, well, then maybe, you know, think about making a targeted piece for your farm that says, hey, you know, retire and get more of your money in Idaho. Here's what some of the homes look like that you know, contact me and I can help pair you with a trusted professional.
Right.
That's smart stuff. It's the business acumen of saying, hey, I'm going to take my activities and I'm going to 10x them and I'm going to find more transactions on both sides.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, remember what you told me in the very beginning. You told me to establish a budget for it. And so
Hmm.
that kind of shifts some of the things too on what you do. Do you direct mail? Do you do email? Do you do a social media page? How about phone calls? What are those things? So you look at where the financial piece is for that, and then you back into it, which actually I'm kind of wow, loose cannon sometimes, but that helped me kind of deal with it a little differently and also track better because I wasn't good there. I will say I wasn't good there with the tracking.
Hmm. And mailers now getting, you know, the price of mailers always getting more and more expensive. We really have to understand the tangible piece to it. When someone says, hey, I'm establishing a new farm and it's 500 homes, you have to think, okay, well, if you're mailing at least once a month, which is a true healthy farming piece for most agents, think about the cost to that, right? And can we look at things a little bit differently? Stephanie, I know you also like door knock and door drop and do special little gifts and things. Like, what are some of those little things that you do? You know, you'll go and do that stuff instead of sending mailers too.
Yeah. So one of the things I was trained to do is do a CMA a day. I was told if you do a CMA every single day, and if you do the proper activities after the fact, then you can get 10 deals. So it's a CMA, one CMA a day, and it's unsolicited. So you drop them off and or email them. The other thing is I will do little postcards. Another thing I was taught was about recipes because some people poo-poo recipes, some people think it's a great thing, but most people hold on to them. And when you put recipes out, a lot of times you'll go to folks' homes and they're sitting on the refrigerator because they want to do something with that recipe. And it keeps you top of mind with these individuals. So I always do some type of recipe, and then I buy candy and everything's themed. It'll be what am I doing now? Right now I am doing a spring recipe It's always cake because I like it's the thing about cake. It's a spring recipe, and then I'll do themed candy. So everything matches, everything kind of goes together because I'm kind of matchy matchy. But just the other day I met a client based on the suggestion that we got from our regional manager that says do the 5 texts. And so I did 5 texts, and when I met the client, we met for boba. We didn't do coffee. We met for boba. And so we got, I did a little baggie with a card in it that was actually a goal setting card because I do vision board parties too, and that's a whole nother conversation. And then I put candy and I put a branded pen and uh and they were just thrilled that I came with a gift. But every time I see somebody, I like to have a gift for them. And it's small. It could be, hey, Walmart had chocolate on sale, buy the chocolate, put it in a baggie. Somebody had, I do Biscoff cookies, the airplane cookies, and put them in a bag with a tea. I have a card that talks about the Eleanor Roosevelt quote that talks about how when you put a woman in hot water and then what tea comes out, and I clip a tea bag with it and put it in a baggie. Those little things are people love those things, especially women. And that's kind of what I focus on as women. And so but they love that kind of we like all that kind of junk stuff, you know. But it's fun. But it's always something. I
It's
pick a theme every
meaningful.
month. Yeah.
And it's something different than just, "Hey, here's a flyer," right? Or, "Hey, here's a content that's about building relationship," right? And doing something a little bit different. In an era where people are starting to pull back from those things, one of the best things that works is by not doing that, because now you're going to stick out more and more and more, right? So you've brought up a couple times now, and it absolutely something we need to talk about. The fact that not only are you an amazing mom and power woman and realtor, you're also president of two different realtor affiliate associations right now. So tell us a little bit more about that, Stephanie. Like, why are you involved? Tell us more about that side of your philanthropic heart.
Sure. So the first one is, I'll say was how we've met was Women's Council Realtors. I'm president of the South Bay Network. And that kind of came about because I had some friends that kind of pulled me in, but I stayed because of the relationships. I stayed because it put me in an arena with other women that are committed to helping me grow as a leader. And for me, leadership has always been. So it wasn't about, Stephanie, we're going to help you build a leader. It's actually helping me become a different leader. And so because I was a leader before and it was about moving a number to hit a goal financially for a corporation. This one's not just about a goal, but it's a goal of helping us move in the real estate industry, but also it's a goal of me being a more servant heart. So it's a little different with Women's Council. And so it's made me a little more aware of some things about myself too, because I thought I was, this leader, but I'm finding out that there's always some growth opportunity for all of us. So that's been a wonderful aha moment for me. With the Realtors Group, which I'm the president of the Beach City Realtors, which is the Orange County chapter of NARAB, that one's a little different because it's more like a passion project. The mission for NARAB is about democracy or equity and home ownership. And so what that says is, and it's not just about Black people, it's about the underserved. We serve whoever needs help. And so we have programs and we have training to help us be better. It helps us grow in a different manner, but it also helps us grow the community. So that's a little more community based. Right now, I'm part of a developers academy, and so NARAB offers this 6-month program from start to finish on how to become a developer, from the passion project to financing to understanding the building, project management, all those different things. And so for me, NARAB is a little different because it's here. It's me getting the tools to help me grow the community that I serve. So it's a little, one is about real estate and growing the real estate community. The other one's actually helping grow the community at large.
Stephanie, both of those organizations are so deserving and so worthy of your leadership. And, through Women's Council, if you are a realtor here on the call that lives in the South Bay, please reach out to Stephanie and talk about getting involved there. If you are a realtor that wants to get involved and become a realtist, literally anywhere, same thing. Call and talk to
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
because both are really amazing organizations. But I definitely can speak about the Women's Council one as we've both been involved. It's about the relationships that you build. Being a strong leader is something that we're known for growing people to be amazing leaders. And yet, if you already consider yourself a strong leader, you are so right. The humbleness, the gratitude, even just the friendships that you build through this system. Like Stephanie said at the beginning of the call, we know agents from across the country now, very wholly and genuinely. And we know that we could reach out to them, refer business. They're going to give them the same type of service and level that we would as well, right?
Just another plug for that. Just keep one thing in mind about Women's Council is I was a Keller Williams agent for 4.5 years. I took a trek away. And because of the relationship with Women's Council, I met Halley a couple years ago. And we had a ongoing conversation about hey, what about here? What about us? And we kept the conversation going. And then we started this about 2 years ago, and at the beginning of the year, I sent a text and said, "Hey," and you're like, "Hey," and we worked through a transition that was, I would say, I am not normally one who moves around, but I don't know, something about real estate. We just kind of move until we feel like we're home. And so with just that relationship, it brought me home. And so just the whole idea of I met this woman that encouraged me through Women's Council that said, "Hey, we can make a new home for you, or you can come back home." And I came back home, and so my life, and I honest, this is real. This is not just fluff. My life is different, and it's only been 3 months. It's been no, it's not been that long. It's been yeah, beginning of March, and it's different because of the relationship that says, "Okay, you can come here. You're comfortable." I'm able to do what I do. The systems are the same system, so I was able to plug back in real easy. Doug, I mean, just the office alone, Manny, Doug, Simon with Women's Council, one of the biggest areas before we started with this, one of the conversations we had was I am struggling with a place to meet with my Women's Council group. I need help. I talked to Hallie, I talked to Manny, I talked to Simon. Simon has opened his door to allow us to meet in his office because that's the geography that I serve. Even though I live here in Long Beach, and it's made it easier for me to do that job because it was a struggle. And so it's not a struggle anymore. So again, and that lends to the power, not just of Women's Council and being part of a real estate association, but it also lends to the Keller Williams culture. And then our team lead, Halley Hardy. So I just had to say that. I'm done.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
I'm
I'll
grateful.
Venmo you later.
I'm
Just
grateful.
kidding.
I'm really grateful. So that
Oh,
just,
just
it
kidding.
made it a whole lot easier because it was
Oh, well,
hard. It was
we're
hard.
we're very blessed. It is hard. Transitions
Yeah,
are never easy,
yeah,
right? If you're a producing agent, there's never a time that you look up and say, "Oh, hey, it's the time," right?
yeah.
But it clearly was the right time for you to be with us, and
I
we
agree.
are really happy to have you.
Yeah.
Stephanie, we're about time. Anything else you want to share with the group? Kick them off for the weekend. Things you want to say?
Only thing I would say is go love on your database.
Hmm.
Go love on your database. Call them, text them, offer the coffee. Send a personal, I write a lot of personal notes. Send them a personal note and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. Hope you have a great weekend." You can touch on to social media when you see everybody puts all the business on social media. You can get some things from social media that says, "Hey, I saw that you got a new puppy," but really get involved with your database. I also, and one last thing, I was at KW Europe Belinda Rush started, and there was a sales agent. His name was Chad Linthef. His job, he was called Mr. Placentia. He door knocked Placentia. That's what he did as his business. And one year he was challenged to go back and call his people. And he called his people and he got 10 deals.
Hmm.
Call your people.
Call your people.
Yeah.
Good note to leave on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. What
Thank
an
you.
electric 30 minutes. I could talk to you for literally hours. You guys, if you're here on the call and anything that sparked to you, AI, Women's Council, Long Beach Realtist, coffee. I don't know. We talked about a lot today, but if any of those things you'd like to know further, Stephanie is very, very sharing and giving with her time. So please reach out. She'd love to probably connect with you guys. But
Oh,
we're
thank
here.
you.
Have a good weekend. Go out, get one more open house, go out and talk to one more client, and go and love on your people. Go do some calls.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.